Alright, then welcome back to part 2 of the video tutorial, and today we're learning how to create a business website. So we left off after we finished creating this slider here. I just realized, looking over the final product, that this button actually, the text in the button is actually all uppercase, so I'm gonna change that real quick and just nudge it to the left 1 pixel. Alright then, so with that out of the way, let's create a new group called content. I'm gonna give it a color of green. Okay, now if we take a look at the finished product, let me just resize this a bit so you can see the entire page. Okay, the first thing that you see are 3 columns here, each showing a service or a feature of the product or whatever you want to use it for. So to do that, we need to divide the page into 3 separate sections using our guides. Each section is going to be 285 pixel in width, so with the rectangular marquee tool, make a selection of 285 and then just drag a guide to it. And then make a selection of 50 pixels, which is going to be our gap between the columns, and drag another guide. Now repeat the process, 285, 280, 285, guide, and then 50, and then guide. Right now, the last one is 292. It's a bit bigger, but it's hardly noticeable, so you can adjust the width when you actually code it. So we're gonna leave it like that for now, and I'm also gonna make a new selection here. Let me measure 40 pixels and drag a guide here. Okay, and that actually measures 40 pixels from the top as a padding for our service items. Okay, so let's check out the structure for each column. So we have an icon, we have a title, some text, and we have a list of links. So let's go ahead and grab the icons first. Now the icons I used are part of an icon pack called Nexus from tutorial 9, and I'm using 48 by 48 icons. So let's grab all the icons. The first one is a box, this plus sign, and the pie chart. So we have the plus, the box, and the pie chart. There it is. Drag them to Photoshop and put them like this inside the content. Okay, now let's just hide these two. Group the box, call it service 1, and bring it up here so you can align it. Okay, next step, write the title. So it's going to be tailored to your needs. And this is actually 14 points, and as for color, it is 2D, 2F, 33. Okay, so LR, 14 points, regular, and with that color. Now just nudge this to the left so that it aligns nicely with the icon. Okay, next step, add a bit of text. And I'm gonna add some of this lorem ipsum stuff. So we have lorem ipsum and some other text. Now this is actually slightly lighter color. It's 919295. It uses Arial, 12 points, like this. And just align it with the guide, and let's clean it up a bit. So it looks like this. Okay, looking good. And I'm not going to worry about distances too much right now. For example, the distance between this and this, because that's going to be done on the coding part when you set the general margins for paragraphs. Okay, so next thing, we need a list of links. So to do that, duplicate this. Now let's create some links. I'm gonna keep it simple to save time, so I'm gonna say link 1, link 2, and link 3. As for color, they need to have the link color, which is DDOC46, and they need to be underlined. Or actually, no, I'm gonna keep them like this. I'm just gonna give them a slightly bigger line spacing, like 5 points. Okay, so move this up just a bit, and to the right, and then I'm gonna copy these arrows. So duplicate these and bring them up, put them in the corresponding group on the top. And for color overlay, I'm gonna keep the same one. I don't want to have too many styles. So arrow, nudge it up a bit, select the link and move it to the left. Okay, and duplicate the layer, align it, and again align it. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's the list of links. Now, if you watch carefully, we have a small number on the right-hand side of the column. So we need to add that as well. So let's type 1. It uses our regular, and the font size is 160 points. So let's bring that down and to the right, and let's bring it all the way down in the group, and give it a color of, let me check out the color, it's F8FAFB, so it's a very light gray. You can almost see it. Okay, so that's box number 1. And speaking of boxes, we need to make this one black and white. So make a selection, go above box, and create a new black and white adjustment layer like that. Okay, duplicate this one, call it service 2, and just you can input some other text here. I think I used something awesome, document handling. Okay, same lorem ipsum, we just need to change the 2 here and move it to the left a bit and change the icon, of course. Now we need the add for this part, so add and move it up here. Okay, delete the old one and let's have a look. Yeah, I think that looks just fine. Okay, repeat and do the same with the column number 3 like this. 24/7 support, 27/7 support, 24/7 support, service 3, just to bring the stats icon right here, like this. Delete the old one. Okay. And click 3. Oh, okay, that looks good. And as you can see, it was very simple to do. Now, the next part, and I think I'm gonna need to make the image a bit bigger here. So go to image canvas size, and instead of 1200, select 1700, or even 1800. So we have lots of space to work with here. Right, so now we need to create a separator that you can see here, and this actually has a pattern. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but it has a diagonal shape pattern, and we're going to create that real quick. Create a new, well, first of all, let's just draw the container here. Select the rectangle tool, click and drag. It has to be around 25 pixels in height, and that's good enough. Okay, for the background color, choose this color right here from the button and call it Sep. Move it up and create a new document, 4x4, transparent, and let's zoom in so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so this is 4 pixels by 4 pixels. Now you need to make some selections like this. This is 1 pixel, 1, 2, holding shift to add to selection. This is the shape that, this is the selection that you need to make, and command backspace or control backspace to fill it with white. Now go to edit, define pattern, and call it diagonal pattern white. Close this, we don't need it anymore, and go to Sep, pattern overlay, and select diagonal pattern white. And as you can see, it added this cool pattern. Okay, so let me zoom back here. Okay. So with that pattern done, I'm actually going to make it just a bit smaller. I think 20 pixels. 25 is just too much. So 20 pixels works better. So let's go ahead and create some padding around here. 40 pixels padding, and just nudge the new separator and make another selection of 40 and drag another guide. Okay, so now we have a very cool padding for the elements. Okay, next step is to create the news area that you can see here, where it says latest news, and we have some random news. Okay, so to do that, let's start with a new group. Call it news, and then type in some text, and it's gonna say latest latest news. Now let me just make this a bit smaller, 14 pixels smaller, duplicate it, latest news. Okay, now create a new round rectangle tool, that's gonna kind of incorporate the news word. So it's gonna be like a background color for it. And as a background color, use the color of the links, which is DD, OC, and 46. Call it base, bring it down. News needs to be white, and latest needs to have the same color as this. So I have latest news. Select these two, nudge them up a bit, like this, and I'm quite happy with it. Maybe a bit more spacing, like this maybe, and nudge news. You can do this very easily with CSS, and it just turns out perfect. Okay, so that's the title of the news section, latest news. I'll bring that up. Okay, excuse me. And now we need to make a new selection of 360 pixels wide, and that's gonna be our news container. So that's 360 until this point, and then we have another 50 pixels as the spacing. Okay. So next step, let's add a news item. So a news item is going to have a structure similar to this. Let's say a date, October 1st, 2011. We're going to have a title, new tutorial for web design tuts, and we're going to have some text, which can be some dummy text for now. So copy some dummy text, and then just paste it. And the last thing that we need is a read more link. Okay, so let's see. The main text is gonna be Arial. So let's change that, 12 points. And same as the slider text color, this is going to be 44, 45, 49. Okay. The date here is actually 11 pixels, and its color is the same as the contact information color on the top side of the page. So it's 92979D, like this. Right, now the title is the only element that has a custom font. So we're going to use Aller, 14 points, and it's going to have this color. Let's say Web Design Tuts Plus. Read more. Again, it's a link, so it's going to have this color, and it's going to be 11 pixels, or 11 points. Okay, so that's the basic structure of our news item. And one last thing, just modify to 3 points of line spacing instead of 5. Okay, let's bring the text like this, and like this, and I'm going to delete some. Like this. Okay. Now, for read more, I'm gonna just copy one of these arrows here and bring them down. And I'm gonna put it right here for read more. Give it a color overlay of red so it looks like it's part of the actual link. Okay. So that's one news item. One last thing that we need to do, add a slight separator, a small separator, and that goes all the way to here. I kind of got confused by all these guides and the actual news document can go all the way to here. Okay, like that. So read more, arrow copy, bring this up like this, and bring the separator up like this. Okay, and grab these three, group them together, call it news 1, and now we can just go ahead and duplicate the news items like this. Okay, so there you have it. That's the news section. Very easy to do. Next part is to create the company info section. So to do that, easiest way, duplicate the whole latest news group like this. Rename it to company info, and we need to delete a couple of things, and we need to change this to about the company. And now we just have to make this red shade bigger. Now, one thing I want to show you is that if you just take a shape like this and you go into free transform and you transform it, you resize it, you get this nasty effect around the corners. So it distorts the corners. Now the correct way to do it is click on the vector mask thumbnail, and you can see it already made a little selection all around the shape. Press A to go to direct selection tool like this, and simply click and drag to select the anchor points here. And what you can do is simply click and drag those anchor points. You can also move them with your arrow keys, but it takes a bit too long, so I'm going to do it like this, and I'm going to click enter. I'm going to press enter to exit the transform mode. Okay, so there you have it. It says about the company, and let's put in some text, some dummy text, of course. This time slightly bigger paragraph. So copy, paste it, Arial 12 points, and the color is 444549. Okay, so let's quickly align this with the text on the left side so they all look good. Clean it up a little bit. Like this. Now, just leave some white space there for a testimonial. As you can see, we have this quick testimonial here. And let's go ahead and do that. Text tool, create an apostrophe like this. I used times. Actually, I used Times New Roman, but for some reason Photoshop. There we go. Times New Roman. And let's resize it a bit so it's not too big. Something like this, I'm thinking. like that. And then input the testimonial text. Let's just write something real quick. You guys are great. The whole process very quickly, just something very general, and keep up the good work. Okay, this needs to be Eller, and it needs to be italic, 14 points, and same as this lighter service text, the color is going to be 91, 92, 95. Okay, bring this up. So yeah, that's basic testimonial, and just nudge it down a bit. Again, you can do this very easily from CSS by setting margins and paddings, but this will do for now. Okay, so that's about the company. Now, the last thing that we need to do here is add a service, a client list, I'm sorry. So let's say something like, here's some of our most satisfied customers. Make this bold. Command Enter, and we need to draw this kind of grid table that has all logos for clients. So let me go ahead, grab a round rectangle tool, and draw a shape that's 230 pixels high. So that's 230 pixels high, like that. Now, nudge it up a bit, like so. Now fill it with white, and let's call this client list. Layer is called base. Double click, add a stroke to it of 1 pixel, and the stroke color is the same as this one. Okay, so let's draw some quick lines just to mark the middle of the shape. So draw a line like this. If you want to draw a straight line, hold shift while dragging with your mouse. So like this, it draws just a straight line. It doesn't allow you to do this. So press shift and you have a straight line. Okay, select that and select the base. If you want to select multiple layers, simply hold Command or Control and you should be able to select individual layers. If you want to select multiple layers that are one next to each other, click one and then click Shift, and it's going to select, it's going to make the selection like this. Okay, so select these two, and then click on this button right here, Align Vertical Centers. So next thing, call this Sep. Give it the same color as this, so the same color as the stroke for the main shape. Command and left click the vector mask here to make the selection, mask it, and now you have two halves. So in order to give those halves a separate gradient, what I'm going to do is command click the base layer, grab the marquee tool, press Alt to subtract, and then just drag a shape like this until I meet the half point, like this. Release, and you have a selection of exactly half of that shape. So the next thing, create a new layer, call it top half, and fill it with something. Gradient overlay, and give it the same gradient as the slider section. So the slider section was, what was it? F4, F6, F8. 6, F8, all the way to white. Okay, so that's top half. Repeat the previous step, select this, subtract. Only this time you'll select the bottom half, like this. Create a new layer. Call it bottom half. Fill it. Copy layer style. Paste layer style. And there you go. And now we can actually, let me just move this. Okay. And now we need to add those two lines here that make the three containers, or 3 lines. Yeah, 3 lines. Okay, so to do that, grab the line tool and create some lines as follows. One here, one here, one here, another one, and the last one is going to be aligned with the right side of the shape, so like this. Select all lines and click on distribute horizontal centers. And now delete the first and last line. These 3, you can just select all of these, Command E to merge them, give them a color overlay, use the same color as the border, and last step, call it vertical lines. Select this and click mask so that it hides all that excess. Okay, so you have the grid now. All you need is some logos. So to do that, I have the Twitter and Facebook and the Corpora logos here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time by taking the logos and putting them on. I'm just going to grab the Corpora logo from the top and put it. And you guys got the idea anyway. So get the logo. And put it on the top, on the client list. Okay, so that's the logo copy. Let's merge this and resize it like this. And then just put it in place so it looks like this. Alright, duplicate it. Duplicate it a couple of times. Select both of these, duplicate them. And you have the logos. Select all 4 and then just duplicate them again, like this. Okay, now in my original render, all of these except one are black and white. So to do that, I'm just going to leave one of them, this one for example. I'm going to leave it in color, so logo color, move it down here. And these, I'm just going to add a color overlay. Or not a color overlay, I'm going to make the selection and click on black and white. Okay. And actually, I'm going to do the selection for all of them. So delete that. And the way to make multiple selections and to keep adding selections to your current selection is to make the initial one, of course, and while holding Command, hold Shift as well. So that adds, you see there's a little plus on my cursor, so that adds that selection, and I can just go ahead and select all of these. And then just go here on the top and select black and white. And that got all my logos black and white except this one. And the idea here is that you can actually link every single image, every single logo from this grid here can link to a specific testimonial in a separate page, like in the client's page. So when you have your mouse over it and you click it, it's gonna take you to the testimonial page. Okay, well that's pretty much it for the content. Now I'm just gonna take a quick 5 minutes break, and when I come back we'll finish up this this first tutorial by making the footer that you can see here. So I'm just gonna pause this for a second and I'll be right back. And welcome back. So as I was saying, let's go ahead and finish up the footer. And to do that, let's bring up our guides. Make a selection of 40 pixels high to give that nice padding. Draw a new guide here. And this is actually going to be the start of our footer. So let me just resize the main window here so you can see exactly what we're doing. Okay, something like this. Okay, so let's close these up, create a new group, call it footer, and footer is about. Okay, using the rectangular marquee tool, make a new selection like this on the entire space that's left. Make a new layer, call it footer base, and fill it with some color. Now go ahead and use a color overlay. Instead of red, let's use this shade of dark blue, dark gray. And on top of this, we need to add a pattern. So convert this to a smart object because it has a color overlay, and adding a pattern over it is not going to work. So smart object, pattern overlay, and choose that diagonal, that grid pattern white that we did at the beginning of the tutorial. So click that and lower the opacity all the way down to about 5% or even 4%. I'm going to stick with 4% here. Okay, that's good. Okay, next thing, make another selection, 40 pixels, so we can have the padding again, like this. Okay, so as you can see in the preview here, we have 3 columns that actually correspond to the 3 columns on the top for the services. So we have a tweet, recent tweets, subscribe, and let's keep in touch with some contact information. So let's start with the first one. It's called recent tweets, and the font is Aller, 14 pixels, and the color is E1. It's not white, it's actually a lighter gray. E1, E5, E9. Okay. So bring this up here like this. And let's input some tweets now. And let's say, I'm just gonna input some random text. I'm not really interested in putting all of these, since it's just for demo. So let's type in, this is a text for a tweet. And the next step is to say 2 days This actually uses Arial, 11 points. 11 points. The text is the same color except the timestamp, which is 42, 43, 47. And that's a bit too dark, so I probably must have gotten the wrong color code. So let's make it a little lighter, something like this, for example, 78797C. Click OK, and this is a text for tweet. Copy that and just paste it in. Okay, we need to have 3 points, and actually copy this and put it inside this text right here, which has to have 3 points for line spacing. Okay, let's make a link style. So let's show how a mention would look like. Like this. Okay. So that's the recent tweets. I don't think we have anything else here. No. Now let's move on to our subscribe column, which is this one. Yes. So subscribe says subscribe to our newsletter, and we need to input some text, and the text should say something like enter your email address below to subscribe to our newsletter. You will receive it every week. Okay, so this doesn't have to be italic, it's just a regular text. Okay, now we need to draw the input field for the email address. So pick up a round rectangle tool and make a selection that's, let's see, it's this big, and for height it's going to be 45 pixels. So call it input. Let's call this group subscribe, and now the input should be white, and it also has an inner shadow. That's 3 for distance, 10 for size, and it has kind of this color instead of black. And as for opacity, take it down to 60% kind of. Okay. Next step, we need to make the button inside the actual subscribe button. And to do that, very simple technique. Duplicate the input layer, call this button base, and with the vector mask selected, press A, and then just move the sides by 2 pixels. So 1, 2 for the right side, 1, 2, 1, 2, and this one will be slightly bigger, like this. Okay. Clear layer style, because we don't need an inner shadow. What we need though is a gradient overlay. And we're going to use the same style as the logo. So if you miss the colors, then it's from CEOC42 all the way to DFOC47. Okay, so let's grab the custom shape tool and draw ourselves an arrow like this, not too big, like this. It needs to be white because it needs to stand out more. So call arrow, and let's put in some text inside the input field. Enter your email address. Make this 12 pixels, Arial, italic, and for the color, I don't know, let's use a simple, let's use the color from the testimonial text. So it should be 919295, like this, and it's a very nice gray color. Okay, what else do we have? We have two links on the bottom here. So let's duplicate this. Terms of use and privacy policy. Kind of give it the same spacing like this. And of course you need to make it underlined since it's a link like this. Okay, that's done with our newsletter column. Let's go ahead and create our contact information column. Bring up the guides again with command command semicolon, sorry. And let's call this contact info. It's gonna say, oops, sorry about that. Let's keep in touch. And as for text, let's say something like, you can contact us by using the information below or by sending us a message via our contact form. Contact form, you can make it a link that will point to the contact page. Okay, let's see what we don't need. We don't need this, we don't need the button, so you can delete those. We don't need this. Actually, we need that one. So input clear layer style, and the color that we need is 42. So 42, 43, 47. Let's see if that works out. I think I'm gonna use a slightly lighter color, something like this. So 4B, 4C, 4E. Enter. And we can input some actual contact information here. So for example, some street address, Washington Avenue, or actually let's just type in insert your street address here and suite number. And it's going to be a regular italic, 12 pixels. The text is going to be E1, E5, E9, and it's going to be 11 pixels actually. Okay, so insert your street address here and suite number. Let's duplicate this. 1, 2 pixels distance. Insert your phone number. And of course, insert your email address. Okay, so that's all that we need for the contact form. Now we just have this bit on the bottom, and to do that, bring up the guides again, make a selection 40 pixel wide, high, I'm sorry, and drag this. Now make a selection again with your marquee tool like this on the remaining space, and brightness and contrast, and bring it down to minus 50, I think. Yes, minus 50. Minus 51, minus 50, it doesn't matter. Okay. And the last two bits are actually a logo, which I can grab from this, or I can grab the big logo. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the big logo since it's much easier. It's much easier to find. Let's grab the logo, bring this up into footer, like this. And I can already see a problem with the logo, and I didn't address it before, but I'm going to do it now. As you can see, I don't want this C to be white. I want this C to be kind of cut through the original shape. So what I'm going to do is do a similar thing to what I did on these navigation buttons. So select base, and then subtract the selection of the C, and then I'm just going to mask the base like this. And I'm going to delete the C, and now we have a very nice shape right there. So with that done, I'm just going to merge, and I'm going to make it a little smaller like this, align to the left, and then give it a color overlay. And I'm going to use this color right here. Okay, that looks good enough. So let me just grab some text here and paste it. Copyright 2011 Corpora. All rights reserved. Align it to the middle with the logo. And the last bit, we need to add these Facebook and Twitter and these social icons. So grab the social group and bring it down. Put it in the footer folder. So it has to be something like this. So align it, bring up the guides, and align it to the right side. So like this. Now I chose to delete the black and white here to show the logos in their full color. You can do you can leave them like this, or you can show them in color. It's your choice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our finished product. So the tutorial was about 1 hour and 50. So alright, let's just say around 2 hours. I really hope you guys found it useful. And as I said in the beginning, this is just the first part of a series of tutorials. And in the next parts, I'm gonna show you how to create the remaining pages, like maybe a secondary page, a gallery page, and a contact page, or maybe even a blog page. We'll see. But yeah, that was it for this first part. Thanks very much for watching, and I really hope you guys will find this tutorial useful. And don't forget to leave your comments, and if you want to see this tutorial coded after it's done, I might even consider making a tutorial for NetTouch, showing you how to code it from from Photoshop to HTML and CSS. So if you want to see that, leave a comment, and I'll seriously consider it. But for now, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you guys later.